चैनल। दिस इज फंडामेंटल राइट्स पार्ट 3। आई होप आपने वीडियो के दोनों पार्ट पहले देखे होंगे, फंडामेंटल राइट्स पार्ट 1 एंड फंडामेंटल राइट्स पार्ट 2। अगर आपने नहीं देखे हैं तो मैं उनकी लिंक डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में अटैच कर दूंगी। तो इन दिस वीडियो आई विल बी डिस्कसिंग अबाउट फ्रीडम ऑफ रिलीजन, cultural and educational rights, and constitutional remedies. I will be discussing in detail about the writs of 5 types. Let's get started. So, starting with right to freedom of religion, that is Article 25 to 28. Article 25 and Article 26 embody the principle of religious tolerance that has been the characteristic feature of Indian civilization. Basically, a secular state does not mean an irreligious state. It only means that in the matters of religion, it is neutral. The state can have no religion of its own. Article 25 says freedom of conscience and free profession and practice and propagation of religion. In terms को समझ लेते हैं पहले. Conscious means molding his own relationship with God. That is, an individual has the right to have faith in any religion and practice as per his choice. To practice religion is to perform the prescribed religious duties, rites, and rituals. To propagate means to spread and publicize his religious views. The right to propagate one's own religion does not give a right to convert another person to one's own religion. प्रोपगेट करने का मतलब ये नहीं है कि आपके पास वो राइट है कि आप दूसरे का रिलीजन कन्वर्ट करा सकते हो, आप सिर्फ अपनी बिलीफ के बारे में बता सकते हो. फ्री प्रोफेशन मीन्स that an individual has the right to openly declare or share his views in whichever religion he believes. Then we have Article 26, that is freedom to manage religious affairs. While the right which was guaranteed under Article 25 was an individual right, the right which is guaranteed under Article 26 is the right of an organized body. So, subject to public order, morality, and health, every religious denomination shall have the right to establish and maintain institution for religious and charitable purposes, to manage its own affairs, to own and acquire movable and immovable property, to administer such property in accordance with law. जो वर्ड रिलीजियस डिनोमिनेशन यूज़ हुआ है आर्टिकल 26 के अंदर, उसको सेटिस्फाई करने की 3 कंडीशंस हैं. द फर्स्ट कंडीशन इज इट मस्ट बी अ कलेक्शन ऑफ इंडिविजुअल्स हु हैव अ सिस्टम ऑफ बिलीफ, दैट इज उनके पास एक कॉमन फेथ होना चाहिए. द सेकेंड वन इज इट मस्ट हैव अ कॉमन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन and it must be designated by a distinctive name. Then we have Article 27, which is freedom not to pay taxes for the religious promotions. Article 27 says that no person shall be compelled to pay any taxes for the expenses on the promotion or the maintenance of any particular religion. That is, there could be no objection if the taxes were used for the promotion of all the religion. Then we have Article 28, freedom not to attend the religious instructions. Article 28 basically prohibits the religious instructions in the educational institutions which are wholly maintained by the state. In case of any other institutions which are recognized and aided by the state, there will be the freedom for every person not to participate in any religious instruction or worship. So this was right to freedom of religion, having 4 articles, Article 25, 26, 27 and 28. Article 25 says freedom of conscience and free profession, practice and propagation of religion. Article 26 provides freedom to manage religious affairs. Article 27 says freedom not to pay taxes for the religious promotions. And Article 28 says freedom not to attend any religious instructions in the educational institutions which are wholly maintained out of the state funds. Moving on, we have cultural and educational rights, that is Article 29 and Article 30, which are the right to minorities. The word minority is not defined in the constitution, but it refers to any community which is numerically less than 50% of the entire population of the state. Article 29 and Article 30 are intended to protect the minorities so as to enable them to conserve their own language, script, culture, and prevent discrimination. Starting with Article 29, Article 29 says protection of interest of minorities. Starting with Article 29, Clause 1, A minority community can effectively conserve its language, script, or culture by and through educational institution. Article 29 clause 2 is quite general and it applies to all the citizens whether they belong to majority or minority group. A school run by minority, if it is aided by the state fund, cannot refuse the admission to boys of other communities. Also, the state cannot direct such school to restrict admission to their own community. Article 29 clause 2 shall prevent the state from making reservation for the backward classes under Article 15. यानी कि कोई माइनॉरिटी स्कूल जिसको स्टेट फंड एड कर रहा है वो किसी और कम्युनिटी के बच्चों का, किसी और कम्युनिटी के बॉयज़ को एडमिशन रिफ्यूज़ नहीं कर सकते हैं. Then we have Article 30, which is right to minorities to establish and administer educational institutions. Article 30 clause 1 says all the minorities, whether based on religion or language, shall have the right to establish and administer educational institution of their choice. तो पहले तो यहाँ पे दो टाइप की माइनॉरिटीज़ की बात हुई है, रिलीजियस और लिंग्विस्टिक. The word establish indicates the right to bring into existence, while the right to administer means right to effectively manage and conduct the affairs of the institution. The right to administer covers the four principles. The first one is right to choose its managing and governing body. The second one is right to choose its teacher who have the compatibility with the aims and aspirations of the institutions. The third one is right to admit the students of their choice subject to reasonable regulations and about the academic qualifications. The fourth one is right to use its properties and assets for the benefit of the institution. पहला है अपनी मैनेजिंग और गवर्निंग बॉडी को चूज़ करना, सेकंड अपनी टीचर्स को, थर्ड अपने स्टूडेंट्स को एजुकेशनल क्वालिफिकेशन के अकॉर्डिंग एडमिशन देना, फोर्थ वन है अपनी प्रॉपर्टीज़ और एसेट्स को इस तरह से यूज़ करना कि वो उनके इंस्टीट्यूशंस के लिए बेनिफिट हो. आर्टिकल 32 क्लॉज सेज they shall not in granting aid to the educational institution discriminate against any educational institutions on the ground that it is under the management of a minority. यानी कि कोई भी डिस्क्रिमिनेशन नहीं होना चाहिए माइनॉरिटी के बेसिस पर. This was cultural and educational rights. Then moving on the very important topic is the right to constitutional remedies, that is Article 32 to Article 35. Before Article 32, we have Article 31, which is right to property. It was omitted in 44th Amendment and it was added as a legal right in Article 300, Clause A. Then moving on, we have right to constitutional remedies, Article 32. A right without a remedy is a meaningless formality, and Article 32 is regarded as the soul and heart of the Constitution. The power which are granted to Supreme Court in Article 32, the same powers are also granted to High Court under Article 226. Starting with the very first writ, we have habeas corpus. Habeas corpus literally means a demand to produce the body. This writ is issued by the friends, family or relatives of a person who is illegally detained by the state. The issuance of this writ means an order to the detaining authority or person to physically present the detained person before the court and show the cause of detention so that the court can determine its legality. And if the detention is found illegal, the detained person is set free. Also, there are certain exceptions. If the detention is lawful and if there is a contempt of court, if the detention is outside the jurisdiction of the court, and if the detention is by the competent court, तो ये रिट इशू नहीं हो सकती है. इसके 4 एक्सेप्शंस हैं. पहला है अगर डिटेंशन लॉफुल है, दूसरा है अगर कंटेम्प्ट ऑफ कोर्ट है, तीसरा है अगर डिटेंशन कोर्ट के जुरिस्डिक्शन से बाहर है, और चौथा है अगर डिटेंशन खुद कोर्ट ने ही किया हुआ है. देन वी हैव रिट ऑफ मैंडेमस. इट इज़ द कमांड टू एक्ट लॉफुली. We can use this writ on any statutory, non-statutory, university or tribunal etc. and command them to perform their public duty. Through this writ, you can command a public official to perform his public duty. The only condition to apply this writ is that there should be a public duty. The Supreme Court may also issue a mandamus to enforce the fundamental rights of a person. Mandamus is basically a judicial remedy in the form of an order to do or to forbear from doing some specific act. It is a general remedy whenever justice has been denied to any person. It may be issued not only to compel the authority to do something but also to restrain it from doing something. The third writ we have is writ of certiorari. Certiorari is a Latin word meaning to inform. Through this writ, Supreme Court and High Court can command the lower courts to submit its record for the reviews. The writ of certiorari can be issued against the constitutional bodies, statutory bodies like corporation, non-statutory bodies like companies, and cooperative society and private bodies. Certiorari can be issued to quash judicial and quasi-judicial as well as administrative actions. There are grounds for which the writ is issued. The first one is lack of jurisdiction. The second one is excess of jurisdiction. The third one is abuse of jurisdiction. The fourth one is violation of the principle of natural justice. The writ is issued for the review whether the judgment of the lower courts are illegal or not, and if they are found illegal, then the decisions are quashed. Then fourth we have is the writ of prohibition. Prohibition means to prevent or to forbid. Prohibition is a judicial order to the agencies from continuing their proceedings in the excess or abuse of their jurisdiction or in the violation of the principle of natural justice. Prohibition is used if before the judgment is announced and you want to prevent it from happening, you can use the writ of prohibition. It is used until the lower court has pronounced its judgment. Then we have the last writ, that is writ of quo warranto. The writ of quo warranto is a question asking with what authority or warrant. Like, for example, the court can question the public officer that by what authority have you assumed this public office, and if that particular title is defective, then he has to vacate the office. पांचों रिट का एक क्विक रिवीजन कर लेते हैं, स्टार्टिंग विद को वारंटो. अगर किसी पब्लिक ऑफिसर से आप ये पूछते हैं कि आपने ये ऑफिस किस अथॉरिटी से अज्यूम किया हुआ है, तो उसके लिए आपको रिट ऑफ को वारंटो अप्लाई करना है. रिट ऑफ प्रोहिबिशन के लिए अगर आप किसी कोर्ट को जजमेंट प्रोनाउंस करने से रोकना हो तो आप रिट ऑफ प्रोहिबिशन अप्लाई करेंगे. सर्शियरी, अगर आप उसको इफेक्ट में आने से रोकना है उस पर्टिकुलर जजमेंट को, तो आप रिट ऑफ सर्शियरी अप्लाई करेंगे. रिट ऑफ मैंडमस, किसी पब्लिक ऑफिसर से पब्लिक ड्यूटी परफॉर्म करने के लिए कहने के लिए आप रिट ऑफ मैंडमस का यूज़ करेंगे. हबीस कॉर्पस, किसी ह्यूमन बीइंग को इलीगल डिटेंशन से रोकने के लिए, किसी को इलीगल डिटेंशन से बचाने के लिए हबीस कॉर्पस का यूज़ करेंगे. फिर आता है आर्टिकल 33, which says the power of the parliament to modify the rights, article 34 which provides restrictions, and article 35 which gives the legislation to give effect to certain provisions of this part. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I have made fundamental rights clear. See you in the next video. Till then, subscribe to my channel and also follow us on Instagram.